It's April 27th, 2024. It's This Week in Comics Saturday Recap. Welcome back to This Week in Comics weekly recap video. Now, normally I'm going to try to do this on Friday, guys. I got a little bit busy this week, so unfortunately it took me a little bit longer to read all my issues, and therefore it took me a little bit longer to do the video. Blah, 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 blah. But we are back, and we have a big week ahead of us. One thing I do want to touch on is I am reading Green Arrow, I am reading Gods, and I am reading Batman, the Brave and the Bold. However, I'm a couple issues behind on all those series. Either I missed an issue somewhere and I still have to get it, or I finally got that issue and therefore I'm like 3 or 4 issues behind. So Green Arrow, Gods, and Batman Brave and the Bold. I love Batman Brave and the Bold. Green Arrow's been good. Gods, I might just wait till the end of review and we'll see what I think about that miniseries or how good I really think it is. But we got a big week ahead of us. So let's get started. We have Drawing Blood by Kevin Eastman, the new Kevin Eastman book by Image. Actually, guys, I kind of found this enjoyable. It was good enough for a number 1 that I'm going to give it a shot at the number 2, okay? And that's not always the case. I know sometimes I jump off series a little early than maybe some people would want me to. I know a lot of people out there liked Feral. It just wasn't for me, but it doesn't mean it's a bad series. It just means I'm not going to read it. Drawing Blood, number 1, comic book artist, his friend, drugs. There's a lot of stuff going on in this opening issue. I would check that out, especially if you're an Eastman fan, you know, Ninja Turtles, all that jazz. Got a clear spot over there to set down the comics. Alrighty, guys, we have Creature from Black Lagoon Lives. Now, this is not the same team that did the Dracula book for Image. It's a different creative team, but I actually really did enjoy this. It's interesting because the Creature from the Black Lagoon is less Dracula. He's less a demonic figure, more of a monster hero, you know, a la Swamp Thing, things like that, Man-Thing. But Creature from the Black Lagoon Lives, another Universal Pictures Presents book, another quality entry. If you like those Universal monsters, I would definitely encourage you to check those out. Alrighty, guys, The Amazing Spider-Man number 48. We went with the Peach Momoko cover here because, as you can see, I love Spider-Gwen. I wanted to see her version of Spider-Gwen, even though I say Peach's art is sort of whatever to me, to be honest with you. And so is this book. But Ben, a.k.a. Chasm, Hallows' Eve, kind of sets them on a different path. They're going to try to get his soul back. He believes he can only be good if he gets Peter's memories back, but that's not really the case. You just kind of be your own person. I'm curious to see where Chasm and Hallows' Eve pop back up. This will end my run of 2 issues on The Amazing Spider-Man because I just wanted to check in with Janine and Ben. Yeah, you guys let me know how it is because the first couple issues that were pretty bad. Alrighty, blank cover. I'm not going to pull this out. It's Dick Tracy number 1. Yes, the classic detective is back in comic book form. Listen, I've been arguing for a while now that Columbo should have his own comic book, so seeing Dick Tracy here is awesome. I would love to do a Columbo book. Hit me up, Image. Hit me up, Dynamite. I will write it for you. I love Columbo. But Dick Tracy number 1, good detective book. If you've ever watched any of my videos, you know a serial killer book, a detective book, something like that will always get me interested. So Dick Tracy number 1, if you can find it, not by a big publisher. I believe it's by Mad Cow, Top Cow maybe. If it's Top Cow, then it's Image too, so we'll see. But Dick Tracy number 1 was fantastic. Alrighty, guys, Batman Dark Age book 2. Now, I was kind of critical of book 1. I thought it was a little bit weird. I thought the art was a little bit weird, and it still is a little bit weird, but the Allreds kind of have their own system, their own style. So if you read Superman Space Age, which I didn't, then maybe you're a little more familiar with it or like it a little bit more. However, I've seen reviews of this. A lot of people don't like the second issue as much as they like the first issue, and I hated the first issue and really liked the second issue. I kind of like to see how Ra's al Ghul was there in Vietnam training them, how Oliver McQueen was one of the people that was being trained as well. Bats gets left behind. He comes back. He can only trust Gordon. I actually like Dark Age. So here's a good example of you should give the number 2 a chance in case you're unsure on the number 1. Again, not going to do that with Pharaoh, but I keep reiterating that. Alrighty, guys, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver number 3. A little Scarlet Witch, a little Viz, a little Speed. We got a lot going on in this series and in this issue. Now, guys, Scarlet Witch is coming back again in the summer with a new number 1, and we're kind of going back to this is like a little interlude in the main Scarlet Witch series. So hopefully you've been collecting since Steve Orlando took over with the Scarlet Witch #1 a while ago and have just kind of continued through. If not, that's a good place to start. Keep going with it. This miniseries is kind of whatever. If you want me to be honest, it's more of like an interlude story than it is anything else. But I'm going to keep reading. I'm going to keep tracking her adventures, especially with the same writer tracking her across all the books. Alrighty, we have The Six Fingers #3. Now guys, remember this is the killer side of the story of the One Hand, right? And we get a little bit more supernaturally into this, especially with, the one hand. The one hand can't see what the other hand's doing, but now the killer is the one hand and Nasser, the detective's the other hand. I don't know exactly what's all going on here, but the imaging in these books is good. I prefer the art on the one hand, but I do like the dual stories being told here. So if you're reading one, read the other for sure. Alrighty, guys. The Infernals, about the Devil's Kids. I actually really like this book. I think the art is very well done. Ryan Parrott, a Bakersfield guy, also previously on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, on a billion different Mighty Morphin Power Rangers books, to be honest with you. Another quality entry here. If you want to see what the Secession of Hell would look like if the devil died early, this is the book, and it's the only book. So it's definitely entertaining. It's definitely a good comic book concept. Alrighty, we got Ultimate Spider-Man #4. I say alrighty all the time now, and I realize that I should just name this Alrighty with Dustin Dry, because I say alrighty after every effing issue. Okay, alrighty, we got Ultimate Spider-Man #4. This entire issue takes place over the course of a dinner date between Harry and his wife Gwen Stacy and Peter and his wife Mary Jane. Now, I've heard rumors that they think that because Peter hasn't learned with great power comes great responsibility, that he is going to lose one of his kids and that's how he's going to learn it. Man, I hope not. That's a dark storyline, but hey, good for them if they did. They would pull a trigger that I wouldn't pull. I think Mary Jane's going to die is what's going to happen, and that Peter's going to eventually end up causing trouble between Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn. But I digress. Ultimate Spider-Man #4. If you're not reading the Ultimate Universe, you should be. It's been great so far. This is the top book. Black Panther right behind it. Ultimate X-Men's good. It's a little bit different. Not necessarily an X-Men book, but it's good. Alrighty, can't tell by the cover, or maybe you can from the previous covers. American Psycho #4 finally came out. Guys, I love this book. I love the story of how Bateman would have ended up in the mental institution. I like the detective, or the guy pretending to be the detective, the guy helping him. Everything about this book is so creepy and so weird. And if you're going to do a book based on a movie and you're going to set it kind of in between times, or however you want to really word it, this is the way to do it. I really enjoy this book. It's dark, the art, and it's great. It's graphic. If you like American Psycho, Christian Bale, any of that stuff, you like serial killer stuff, it's a good book for you, trust me. Alrighty, we have Duke #5. Now, guys, there is only one more issue of Duke coming out. I believe there's only one, maybe two more issues of Cobra Commander coming out. I'm not exactly sure what number they were on. I think they're on 5. I can't remember now. But Duke #5. One more issue of this coming out. It looks like G.I. Joe is about to be formed. It looks like Duke's going to be going after more than just the Decepticons. It looks like he might be going after Megatron and the Autobots as well. We get a preview to Destro, which is the next, I assume miniseries, in the G.I. Joe, the Energon universe, coming out of Skybound with Robert Kirkman. So Duke #5, another great issue. You guys should be reading all these. Duke, Cobra Commander, Void Rivals, Transformers. Pick up the entire series, read them in order. It's continuity driven, it's well done, and yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the Larry Hama normal series. Sorry, guys. Alrighty, Daredevil #8, the absolutely stupidest price book of the week, $9.99 for the 60th anniversary issue. And if you're like, but it's an anniversary issue, why wouldn't it be more money? Man, motherfucking, he did not debut 60 years ago this week. I do not believe that for one mother effing second right now. So I would just say this. In the main story, we finally figure out that the person behind the heat is, dun dun dun, Kingpin, Wilson Fisk. The other stories which set up, other Daredevil books that are out there, I didn't read. I don't care. At the end of the issue, there's a hilarious King of the Hill comic strip parody and a hilarious Calvin and Hobbes comic strip parody as well. Those are both funny. They're both half a page. The main story that goes with the actual book that we've been reading is entertaining. It is good. It sets up what's going to happen with him, Elektra, everybody that's going on there, Bullseye, how Bullseye's working for Kingpin again. All that's great. $9.99. I mean, turn this sumbitch sideways, stick it up your candy ass, as The Rock would say, because that is bull fucking shit right there. Alrighty. We have World Tree number 9 by Tinian. Again, I say this is Tinian's it. People get mad. Everybody steals ideas from everybody, but it doesn't matter. We get a little bit of flashback in this issue, kind of going back to the formation of the group or how they got the servers and everything like that. Now that guy's going to bring, the internet back on. He was a lover of Gabriel. There's a lot going on in here. It's also interesting that, what's her name? I'm blanking. Fox, maybe? That she finally gets exposed to the internet, and based on the cover for next week, maybe we actually get to see her explore the internet and what's on the other side, because it's still a little bit more ambiguous than maybe you would like it to be if you're really reading this series right now. Alrighty, then we have the Penguin number 9, one of the issues that I forgot to write down and almost missed this week. Now, the Dark Knight is closing in. He kind of knows that it's not the Penguin's kids that are doing everything, but he kind of has to figure out exactly how or why or what's going on with Oswald. Oswald's going to make his power play. I'm not exactly sure when this series is going to end. If it ended at number 10, it wouldn't be surprising. If it ended at number 12, it wouldn't be surprising. If it's going to be ongoing, it wouldn't be surprising. I'm not really sure what the plan is here. It's also sort of weird that King is doing... He references his run of having Penguin be the informant from his run of Batman. I don't know. And then is this going on in the current run of Batman? It is, but it isn't, especially with Zardasky setting it up and all that stuff. Okay, guys, Avengers number 13. This actually closes out probably the first true volume or the first, big run of the year on the Avengers. As Orcus attacks, we get to see that 3D Man is more of a plant than he was really an out-and-out villain, and we get to see a nice little conclusion of everybody coming together, only to end with the final splash page of Blood Hunt is coming. So now, this group of Avengers is going to be heavily involved in Blood Hunt, and they will be on their way going there. But I know, because of the preview at the end of the issue, that a new team of Avengers is coming. Captain America, Hercules, Hazmat, we got Hawkeye, we got Quicksilver. That is such a weird Avengers group. I'm so excited to see it come. I actually really enjoyed this team, though. I enjoyed them fighting, doing the Tribulation events. I enjoyed them helping out with Orcus, everything about it. So if you get a chance, Jed Mackey or Mackey, not really sure. You should read his run on stuff. He's actually a writer I've started to highlight a little bit more. He's going to do Blood Hunt as well, so I'm curious where he's going to take his Avengers, if you get my drift there. Now, that's going to do it for this week. We should shout out our youngest fan out there, Ivy Ann Rogers. I think she might be 13 days old at this point. And for everybody out there who's my buddy Clint's friend, you might be finding out right now that he had a kid. Yeah, he's the most secretive bastard on the planet. But got to give our youngest fan a shout out. She's out there watching. You should be watching. But if she knows anything, now's the time where we fade to black, hit the music.